Hello, world. I'm Don West Jr., and I'm the founder of Knockout the Stigma, and I'm the creator of the Wellbeing Exchange. And today I wanted to say a little bit about what's on my mind. And today, what's on my mind is thinking about how life imitates art, or is it art imitating life? And part of this is because the Wellbeing Exchange is a place that's been created. It's an online website. It's a virtual place where you can connect and get tools, techniques. We have virtual groups, and it's actually an article that came in from Long Island, New York, actually virtual, by my new friend and fellow peer supporter and colleague, Mr. Howard Diamond. And in his article, which I invite you to check it out on the website, Actually Virtual by Howard Diamond, it's right there in the blog. Actually virtual, or is it virtually actual? No problems here, stating for the record, this is what I'm trying to figure out, actually. Perhaps an ideal way to begin here was by using visual means, my tablet, virtual means. I can't read. It's actually factual that I can read, but it's virtually impossible to read what's going on this screen right now, because there's so much going on in my mind. And so, is life imitating art, or is art imitating life? Again, I don't know. But I do invite you to come and read the actual words that my man Howard Diamond wrote in his blog, his November 19th blog. And that came out yesterday. And if yesterday was November 19th, that means today is November 20th. And if today is November 20th, that means that I have to give a special shout out to my little brother, Robbie Rob, Uncle Elmer. I love you very much, brother. Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, little brother, Robbie Rob, Uncle Elmer, and such. Happy birthday to you. Rob, how old are you? 40, 44, 43? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. All right. Back to reality, or virtuality, or is it art imitating life and life imitating art? So Mike Baxter is a fictional character on TV, and I like him a lot. Well, let me tell you about him. I like him a lot. He's always messing up with his wife. He's always messing up, and he's always messing up. Lots of times he's messing up because of his ego, because he's in a self-centered framework and mindset. So I love this guy. And then he's a successful businessman. He's an international photographer. And hold on. So check that out. That's in French Polynesia, Tahiti. Beautiful shot in Tahiti. I'm standing right here, and I took that picture. So, like Mike Baxter, international photographer, travels around, does all kinds of really cool things in the sporting goods. And he's always messing up with his wife. But the point about it is that Mike Baxter always finds a way to fix it. You apply yourself, think about it, you can find a way to fix it. So enough about the fictional Mike Baxter. We'll talk about myself, Don West Jr. And it's almost as if there's a silent, soft little voice in my head that is whispering, "Fix it," and it's a motivation, and it's a mantra, and it's saying, "Fix it." So whatever that it is, what what I do is I plan my work and I work my plan, and I plan my work and I work my plan, and you know that you're in the center of your lane. You know that you're hitting it right, and you're in the center of your lane when there's no distractions. And it's like being in the flow, and you're going to fail, and you're not going to, but you're going to know that you're in the flow because there's no distractions. And when you're in the flow, everything is moving by, but there's no distractions, and you can see things and you can pluck out the things, but you stay in the flow. So stay in the flow, stay in the flow, and you can fix it. And then the question is, well, what is Don talking about? What does he mean? Well, if it sounds interesting to you, if it's vibing with you, I invite you to come to our website at www.wellbeingex.org. That's www.wellbeingex.org. And we have, on the right hand side, we have featured coaches and practitioners. On the left hand side, we have events that are coming up. And right down the middle is a stream of content of things that are produced, like from my man Howard Diamond in Long Island, New York, that are coming in from peers. It's a peer-run, peer-led organization. And I'm going to take a moment right now and take a break. And I'm going to let you see this message inviting peers to join us and to share their stories of hope and recovery. So I'll be right back. Hello, world. My name is Don West Jr., and I am the founder of Knock Out the Stigma, and also the creator of the Wellbeing Exchange. And we have a cool website for that. It's just launched, www.wellbeingex.org, wellbeingex.org. So the Wellbeing Exchange was a place created specifically to allow people that are in need of services in their journey of recovery and their quest for well-being, and people who have services to offer. So I myself am a certified peer specialist. I received my first certification from the Depression Bipolar Support Alliance, DBSI, uh, DBSA, I'm sorry, DBSA. And then I received my second certification through Project Return and their certification program. And that was a very cool program because that actually had an internship component, and I got to intern uh, over near Koreatown in Los Angeles at a place called Path, People Assisting the Homeless. So that was a very cool experience. But the Wellbeing Exchange was for people like myself who have certified peer specialist credentials, and others who are actual practitioners, family therapists, blah, 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 social workers. It's for those people to connect with people who are looking for coaches, clinicians, and peer support specialists to help them along in their journey. So if you happen to have some skills, and there's other modalities, Reiki, all these other things, massage therapy, physical fitness is also something that contributes to well-being. So if you have skills and you're interested in being a coach or a specialist, or if you have a program or a service or a book to offer that touches the areas of well-being, if you check out the eight dimensions of well-being in the article that is on the Wellbeing Exchange at www.wellbeingex.org, you can see if you have something that might touch the well-being rail. And if you do,
I invite you to more well-being. Please join us on the Wellbeing Exchange. One more time, www.wellbeingex.org. So my thought for you today is um, together we can build an amazing and dynamic community, and we can exchange thoughts and programs. And it's kind of like the idea is that at 2 a.m. in your underwear, you can jump onto the Wellbeing Exchange and you can access tools, teachers, and programs to increase your well-being. So, personal invitation from me, Don West Jr., the founder, asking you spread the word, like this video, share the concept, pass along the Well-Being Exchange and the website. Hopefully, we'll see you there at the Well-Being Exchange really soon. I'm Don West Jr., and as always, namaste.
So now that you got that open invitation to all peers, calling all peers, come on in. And I can't wait to incorporate your journeys and your energies and your understandings and your teachings into what we're doing here at the exchange. So looking forward to that a lot. So www.wellbeingex.org. Wellbeingex.org. That's what we're talking about. And on the left hand side is a list of the events that we have coming up. So on November 22nd from 7 to 8:30, that's a Sunday. Sunday Well-Being and Mindfulness Weekly Jumpstart with Coach Don. That's me. I'm Coach Don. So that's November 22nd from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That's a weekly group. It comes up every week, every Sunday. It's a check-in. It's a free group. Just requires a donation if you're able, because we do everything here. We're a nonprofit organization. We do everything through your support, your love, your kindness, your donations. So check us out on Sunday night in the Sunday night Well-Being and Mindfulness Weekly Jumpstart. We have my man Cedrick is up in there all the time, regular, and Carol is a regular. So hopefully you'll pop in, get some of that. Okay, so where was I? Carol is a regular participant, and she's usually there, as well as my man Cedric. So they're both there. So Sunday night, November 22nd, from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Well-Being and Mindfulness Weekly Jumpstart with Coach Don. So every Sunday night, come by. All the information, www.wellbeingex.org. Sunday night from 7 to 8:30, we have a regular crew. We're always there. Hopefully you'll pop in and check us out and see what that's all about. Then next we have the Team X Peer Support Group for Peer Workers. The Team X Peer Support Group for Peer Workers. That's coming up on Friday, November 27th, from 11 a.m. Pacific Time to 12:30 p.m. Pacific Time. And that's a peer group for peers. It's going to be facilitated by myself, Coach Don, my coaching partner, Coach MJ. We're going to do that once a month, November 27th. November 27th, 2020, from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The Team X Peer Support Group for Peer Workers. Highly requested. Something that I'm looking forward to. And then next, we have on December 1st, an early bird event. December 1st, Coach Don West Jr.'s Early Bird Edition 2021 Being in Balance Life Coaching Group. What is that all about? What is that all about? Well, if you look over my shoulder, right there, you'll see the guy in the shoulder pads there, and that is Cedrick Hardman. Cedrick Hardman. So if you're wondering, well, who is Cedrick Hardman? So this is a continuation in the final part of a blog post that I started a little earlier. And where I left off was talking about the guy in the shoulder pads and the white shoulder pads over my shoulder. And that guy is Cedrick Hardman. And Cedrick Hardman, he passed away last year. And he was a big influence on my life. When I met him, I was 260 pounds. We met out in Palm Springs when I met Cedrick. And he was in super great shape. He was wearing a Speedo, and he baby oiled himself up and interrogated me about how I ran track at Florida State. As you can see, my girl Yeshiva, what up, Sheev? She was holding me down in the blocks that day. She'd been holding me down for years. So anyway, he showed up at my house. It turns out he lived around the street, around the corner from me. I was living in Laguna Audubon at the time. And he showed up at my house and he started taking me to work out, showed me lots of different things, demonstrated it, lived it all the way through. When he was getting chemo and radiation, he was still working out. He said as long as he could go to the gym, he knew he was alive. And that was so true. So that's the big man. And the point and the lead in with that is that the big man is, I was in his SUV one day and I reached down into the pocket and there was a book on tape. And if you know me, you know that I'm a bibliophile and I love books. So I grabbed the book and I picked the book up, and it was a book on tape. So let's pretend this was a CD, and it was a book on tape, and it said, Being in Balance, Dr. Wayne Dyer. Being in Balance by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And I was like, what is this? What is this? So I asked him if I could borrow it. I burned it immediately into my computer, and I listened to it, and then I burned a bunch of copies and mailed a bunch of copies out to some people. I know I mailed one to my sister Akila. I'm pretty sure I sent one to my parents, and thus began my journey with Dr. Wayne Dyer. And Coach MJ talks about Dr. Dyer a lot in our groups. Dr. Dyer started out as a clinical psychologist. He's a PhD. He started out as a clinical psychologist. He wrote a book, I'm Okay, You're Okay, I believe was the title of it. Drove around the country and sold that book. Drove around the country, sold that book. Became a New York Times bestseller. And then went on a spiritual journey and went from being a clinical psychologist, kind of like that Mike Baxter story again. It was life imitating art is art imitating life. Started out at Florida State, got my undergrad in psychology. And Dr. Dyer, as Coach MJ points out, he went on a journey, and his journey took him from being just a clinical psychologist and looking at how the brain works and how the chemicals work and how behaviors interact with those chemicals and how our thoughts produce emotions by triggering those chemicals and blah, 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 blah. And becoming more of a spiritual teacher, focusing on the breath, focusing on meditation, focusing on our inner workings and how those things affect our daily life, our habits, how those align with our desires, being in balance. So that is what this group is about. That is the early bird Kickstarter for December 1st, Tuesday, December 1st, early bird Kickstarter, being in balance. Because my man Cedrick Hardman turned me on to Dr. Wayne Dyer, and that's where I got the idea for being in balance. And so that's where all of that was going and coming from, and that's what that's about. And people might still be like, who's Cedrick Hardman? So Tom Danelick. Tom Danelick. Tom Danelick wrote this book, The Super 70s. Woo-hoo. Football's greatest era. You got that? Football's greatest era. Tom Danelick. The Super 70s. Football's greatest era. Football's greatest era. I want you to see that too. I want you to see that too. Those are the chapters. All right. You got that. Those are the chapters. The chapters of Dan Dunlap's The Super 70s, Memories from Football's Greatest Era. So I showed the picture, and there's 18 chapters. 18 chapters. The first chapter is Art Rooney Jr. from the Pittsburgh Steelers. The last chapter is Jack Patera from the Seattle Seahawks. 18 chapters in the book of Football's Greatest Era. There's 18 chapters. So the question is, can the story be told without including an individual? That's what is the standard. And according to Tom Danelick, sorry if I'm messing your name up, Tom, but the Super 70s, you can't tell the story of the Super 70s reduced to 18 chapters. The story of the Super 70s reduced to 18 chapters. You can't tell the story of the 1970s, the football's greatest era, without, most importantly, chapter number 13 in the Super 70s. Chapter number 13 in the Super 70s. You can't tell the story. Are you listening, sports writers of America? You can't tell the story of the NFL. The NFL story is incomplete. The NFL story is incomplete and it's abhorrent. And you are aloof in your jobs. And that's okay. Because I'm going to get you right. Because Don West Jr.'s here, have no fear. Lots of people have been in the Don West Jr. is going to get you right scope. And they know that I'll get you right. So, in the history of the NFL, if you don't include Chapter 13, according to historian John M. Turney, if you don't include Chapter 13 in your story of the NFL, the story of the NFL is missing 121 and a half sacks. Sacking the quarterback. 121 and a half sacks are missing if you don't have Chapter 13 of the Super 70s. That's Cedrick Hardman, the gentleman over my shoulder. Cedrick Hardman. 121 and a half sacks, ladies and gentlemen, is a shit ton of sacks to be missing from the record of the NFL annals. And the Super 70s would be incomplete. So, think about that. Sleep on that. I'm watching you. So let's see what the good book has to say, the Super 70s, the good book. Just going to read you a little bit, so indulge me. The greatest set of downs I've ever seen unleashed by a pass rusher came back in 1981. Dallas at San Francisco. Early October by the Bay. Fred Dean, a 6'3", 230-pound Hellcat, made his debut at right defensive end for the 49ers that day. He had joined the team just 48 hours earlier, the result of a salary-incited trade with San Diego. Cowboys left tackle Pat Donovan was assigned to handle Dean. The season before, in a Monday night meeting with the Chargers, he had contained Dean to just half a sack, but the rusher appeared sluggish at times during the game. He played in splurts and maybe 10 pounds heavier than his listed weight. Things would be quite different in their rematch. A pass rush late in the game is the key to the NFL football. Niners coach Bill Walsh was famous for saying, "It comes in rather handy right before halftime too," as his young team would find out. A series of bungling mistakes helped put the Cowboys behind 24-7 with less than 2 minutes remaining in the first half. But they had moved the ball to their own 40 and were scrambling for the quick score to get back in it. Here's where Dean emerged to cave in any last rays of light from above. 1st and 10. Cowboys in the shotgun, 3 wide, and Tony Dorsett at halfback as either an and Tony Dorsett at H-back as either an extra blocker or dump-off receiver. Donovan's lone assignment is to neutralize the well-rested Dean. It never happens. A furious ball rush shoves Donovan 10 yards upfield and then, brother, here comes the judge. Donovan gets tossed aside, then Dean crashes into quarterback Danny White for the sack. 2nd and 19. Cowboys again in 3 wide. Donovan again draws solo duty on Dean. Donovan lines up a yard behind the ball to minimize his opponent's angle. But this time Dean blows by him with an inside swim move. As Dean and left end Dwayne Board bear down on White, the result is a ruptured screen pass that falls incomplete. 3rd and 19. Dallas again spreads the field, this time with 4 wideouts. Dorsett is in the backfield flanking the quarterback. On the snap, Dorsett steps up to support Donovan, but Dean instead takes a wide inside loop and finds himself face-to-face with backup center Robert Shaw. He lowers his helmet into Shaw's throat and lifts him off the ground into a bull like a bull goring a rodeo clown. Shaw crashes hard on his back, and the one-man stampede resumes his charge on White. 4th and 30. The Cowboys' offense never reignited after the series, and the humiliation ended at 45-14. It was an awesome performance by Dean. "We had no answer for him," said Dallas coach Tom Landry afterwards. On a side note, from that year, right after San Francisco had captured victory in Super Bowl 26, a local newspaper polled its anxious readers to select the all-time 49ers team. Fred Dean, the situational rusher, with only 11 regular season games and 3 playoffs in San Francisco's red and gold, made the team at right defensive end. Fred Dean listed there among 49ers icons like John Brodie and Hugh McElhenney, Gene Washington, and Leo Nomalini. I'm messing up people's names. It was a mercenary among the Royal Guard. Several other San Francisco short-timers like Hackshaw Reynolds and Ronnie Lott made that list too. I question the demographics of the voters. Probably a lot of high schoolers and 20-somethings stuffing multiple ballots. Regardless, the newspaper should have waited 6 months to run its poll, at least until fans had cleared their heads of the Super Bowl hysteria, until they had given time to reach back into their memories. There, they still will find, and if they had done it then, Cedrick Hardman. So the point is, some people's memories are short. There's a statistic that we often say in group that you forget 80% of what you learn 48 hours after you learn it. 80% of what you learn 48 hours after you learn it. So, today we're starting a journey into Mr. Cedrick Hardman, the NFL sack masters. Why is that important? Because it just ties in to my personal journey. I used to be a sports agent. I met Cedrick Hardman while I was acting in my official capacity as a sports agent, although we met socially at a party out in Palm Springs. But he introduced me to so many things, fitness-wise, life-wise, recovery-wise, about being a recovery superhero, about being a recovery warrior. Cedrick is the one that helped me understand, and we together gained a handle on the concept of rare air. So if you come to my group on Sunday evenings, it's every Sunday 7 to 8:30 Pacific time, every Sunday 7 to 8:30 Pacific time. So if you come to my group on Sunday evenings, you'll find out a little bit more and hear me talking about Cedrick and I and rare air and what that meant to us. And being in balance. Being in balance is my 12-month, year-long course focused on getting your routine, your habits to line up and match with your desires. Once a month, first Tuesday of every month, starting December 1st, extra early bird edition, 13 installments of Being in Balance, inspired by Cedrick Hardman, the sack master, Cedrick Hardman. And so quickly, what is the sack all about? Well, they used to call it dumping the quarterback. You see, they would run, and then they would turn, and then they would dump the quarterback. There was a dumping of the quarterback today in the football contest down at the yards. And that's how it used to be. And then a gentleman named Deacon Jones came on the scene, and the Deacon was big and the Deacon was mean, and the Deacon put it down and he put the quarterback down, and dumping the quarterback is no longer around. So this is what they say and this is what they do. They sack the quarterback. That's what you gotta do. I just read it to you from the book about the 70s. You who? Sacking the quarterback, Deacon Jones. Deacon Jones invented the quarterback sack. Not the actual act, the term, the impact of the sack. Deacon Jones gave us that. That was Deacon Jones. Remember that. Deacon Jones had my guys back, Cedrick Hardman. They were buddies, quarterback sackers, purveyors of the quarterback sack, the sack masters. So the estates of Deacon Jones and Cedrick Hardman have partnered with me, and we're bringing you sack masters, and we're retooling it and putting it together because COVID and so many different things has interrupted the groove, including both Brother Deacon and Brother Cedrick not being with us anymore. But Elizabeth and Clayton are here, and the estates carry on. Good work, strong men, strong work. John Brody, quarterback, great quarterback, San Francisco 49ers at Cedrick Memorial Service here in California. John Brody said, Hardman, big fucking man. And that's what he was. That's what his spirit is. That's what his impact was. So, December 1st, the continuation of the big man, the one in the shoulder pads over my shoulder. His spirit will be with us. His energy continues and carries on with me and through me. And we're going to be doing Being in Balance, curated by me, facilitated by me, Being in Balance group, 12 months of Being in Balance, first Tuesday of every month. So that's what I wanted to share with you, drop you a little bit of knowledge, start to introduce you to Cedrick Hardman through the path of the Super 70s. So stick with me. We'll continue to talk a little bit about Cedrick. And since football is my thing, I have these trivia cards. They were a gift. We're going to put them to use and ask a trivia question here. Woo! Anyway, the NFL owns the licensing rights to every team except one. The NFL owns the licensing rights to every team except one. Comment, Let me know in the next episode. We'll talk about it. See what happens. See who knows. See how many of you cheat. I'm going to be in your analytics and see how many of you are out there cheating. We're going to find out. One more time, what was the question? The NFL owns the licensing rights of every team except one. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hit me up on Sunday night, 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. 7 p.m. Pacific time. 7 p.m. Pacific time. And remember, you're not alone. You can check me out on Sunday night. Tuesday, December 1st, first Tuesday of the month. Tuesday, December 1st, Tuesday of the month. We're going to be doing that Being in Balance group, facilitated by me. The following Tuesday, December 8th, check it out. Coach Tracy Williams is going to be dropping I Am Woman December 8th. Tuesday, December 8th. That's her next group. I Am Woman with Coach Tracy. So all you ladies down there in Florida, I've already talked to you. You know who you are. Joanne Foster. I'm using your government name. Joanne Foster. Chi, what's up? Hope you guys are going to be there Tuesday, December 8th. Tuesday, December 8th. So I am Don West Jr., inviting you to the Wellbeing Exchange, thanking you for joining me. As always, namaste.
The Wellbeing Exchange. It's a place to connect and empower your own well-being with peer support, tools, and practitioners. You are not alone. Knock Out the Stigma Incorporated, KOTS, is a 501c3 California not-for-profit public benefit corporation committed to engaging, educating, and empowering individuals in their personal recovery journeys and increasing mental health awareness through our growing community of peer support specialists, therapists, and other well-being practitioners and recovery trainers, coaches, and mentors. Always remember, you are not alone.